Okay, so here we got the first setup in my little room here. You got the third light just from the back there, and that's the natural light coming from the sun. It's about 7:10 p.m. right now, so the sun's about to set. I've got a diffused light at the front, just over here, and yeah, that's diffused at the moment. And I've got another light at the back here. So this is a very small room, and I'm just kind of experimenting here with the 3-point lighting here. So obviously this is going to work in one side of the scene when the camera is positioned in this way and we're focusing on this actor, but if I walk around the room, the lighting is going to be quite off in another sense, as our teacher, Professor Bob Degas, always tells us. They always have the lighting differently for different camera switches and for when they're walking around and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're going to experiment here. I'm going to take off this diffused light here and see how the harsh light changes the shot a little bit. So as you can see, that front light has been, the diffuser has been taken off and it's quite blinding now. So obviously we're getting a bit of hard light here, a bit of harsh shallows here. It's not really kind on my face, so not really the best idea to change that light. So second thing we're going to do is we're going to switch off this light and let's see how things change here. Yep, so it's going to be quite different now. It's a little bit more kind of the tone is a bit more, I guess, somber and hostile now maybe, and this light here is even harsher on my face, and now we're gonna do the curtains. So see how dark we'll get now. We've got no third light. It's, the third light is still there, but it's very much diffused now with the curtains being pulled back. So again, it's very, very different lighting on my face, because all the impetus now is on this one light just over here. So now we'll switch off this light and see how it looks, and it's going to be pretty dark. I'm using a pretty high f-stop. The ISO is quite high on the camera right now to get this picture, but yeah, right now, like you can see, it's pretty dark, and yeah, that's, I guess, some good analysis from one aspect of one particular shot on the lights. You obviously see the diffused light made a difference, made my face look quite harsh, and it was hard light, which obviously wasn't great. The diffuser looks a lot better than without it. The light at the back there wasn't diffused, but when I turned that off, it put more. You can see that the backlight, the key light, is really making a big difference here. And then when I put the third light, when I dimmed the curtains, that really made a big difference. So yeah, definitely a lot of notes to take from this session, and I guided you through it best I could. Okay, so what we notice here is something a little bit different. So like Bob was telling us, when you're shooting a scene and you have an actor that the lighting has been set up for correctly in one position, you have to change the lighting completely, because when you're shooting another actor, or when that same actor goes into a different position, the lighting is completely off because it's centered in the actor being in the original position. So in terms of my 3-point lighting, nothing has changed. I haven't changed the lighting from my original first shot, and you can see now me in a different position. I'm facing the side of where I was before I was just situated over here, and now I'm facing the other way. The lighting is completely off for me right now. So like you said, every shot is recorded with one camera. It may look like there's multiple cameras, but like Bob said, Professor, it's all taken with one camera, and they sort out the lighting for all these different cuts and takes, because as you can see here right now, this doesn't look too cinematic. This doesn't look great. So yeah, it's a good experiment this was, to check and experiment ourselves with how lighting can play such a big factor on how cinematic a shot can look and a scene can look. So yeah, thanks Bob.